Yeah, I thought we canceled this meeting.
Yeah, we did. We did.
I thought it
The March 23rd meeting, the Lacey Lady City Council now called to order at 6:01 p.m. Roll call, please.
Ms. Sights,
Here.
Mr. Hottie,
Here.
Mr. Lednicki,
Here.
Mr. Bundren,
Here.
Mr. Wilson,
Here.
Ms. Clark.
Here.
I guess you know better.
Ready for the agenda briefing?
Mr. Pleasic,
Here.
All right, the agenda briefing, please.
Okay, tonight we have 3 action items on the agenda. First item is the discussion and consideration of the mayor to enter into the agreement with McLennan County Elections Office to conduct a joint election that'll be held on May 1st, 2021. The second item is discussion and consideration, have the mayor enter into an agreement with McLennan County Elections Office to authorize and approve the notice of the joint general election that will be held on May 1st, 2021. And then the last item is discussion and consideration, authorize myself to enter into an agreement with Franklin Digital Solutions. It's for a software document management system known as Laserfish. What this is, we recently run into a problem with record storage in the police department. They're one of the few that still use all paper copies pretty much. And so we run out of space. We had to make some quick provisions to store more records. This will allow us to put all of the records in on file on this computer server. And it'll just make everything much more efficient. We'll be able to start getting rid of some of that stuff we've got stored record-wise. Some of those records we have to keep forever. And that's the problem. We've gotten that forever pile is huge now. So we'll be able to go in there, scan those onto this and store them that way. This is one of the companies that TCO approves for them to have records in storage. Also, we'll be able to move those records to the DA's office by computer as opposed to hand delivering them like we do now. So much more efficient, take up less space, and I don't have to expand the building.
So what's the temporary solution that you're doing right now?
Temporary solution is we moved a few things out of there that were essentially junk, which made a little bit more space. But that little bit more space is only going to last until, of course, it fills up. And that should be very quickly. Could take 6 months, but nonetheless, it's going to fill up. And just, my next solution was to extend the building out. We thought we could use some different methods, but it's not possible because they only allow certain certified buildings to store these records. So build on, which eventually will fill up, or like I say, this is probably the best solution. You'd be able to store everything on the computer into the cloud and on the server, and should last many years.
I guess my next question would be like a 2-part. Where's the money coming from? And is there any reason why we couldn't wait until next budget?
Well, we certainly could probably wait till next budget. Might be dicey on the space, and I don't know what the price difference will be by then. Sometimes if you wait, it costs more.
But still less than building addition,
Correct.
a lot less.
Yeah, and we have contingency fund to catch these types of things that come up. And, you know, we'd actually been talking about it for a while. And last budget year, it was mentioned and then kind of bypassed because we had some space. And then all of a sudden the shock is we don't have any more space, we're out. So we had to scramble pretty quick to make some room. And that's how quickly you can get overcome, so. Now, there's two options. If you look at those two contracts, one's around 15,000, one's around 20. The difference being the 15 has less storage space, and the other one has quite a bit more. So obviously, in my opinion, you go with the more storage space. So we're not back in here, even in a couple of years going, hey, we need to get a bigger server. This one should handle us for many years to come.
And what percentage of the two numbers is the cost of the upload versus the cost of the long-term maintenance? What's the bleed out over time on this thing?
So the difference that I'm looking at on those contracts is one of them is a server at this level, and the maintenance on it is at this level. The other is just quite a bit bigger server. So that goes up, and it'll do more than the first one. So,
But are they loading these documents in for free? And we're
no, we actually load.
Okay, so this money that we're spending, is this an upfront fee or is this going to be the annual burn for space?
No, it's an upfront fee, and then there's an annual component in there. As a matter of
It's about a
fact,
third of the price.
I'm sorry?
It's about a third of the price annually per the original investment.
Yeah, so on the bigger, the one that I'm recommending, the annual fee on that is $6,295. And on the lesser one, it's $5,245. So you're looking at $1,000 difference.
For what percentage increase in space?
It's unlimited, right? It's unlimited.
Yeah, it's quite a bit more percentage. I can't tell you the exact numbers, but we're going from a 10 to a 30, so.
Okay, so it's more than double for a very nominal amount of money.
Correct.
Right. And then if we have to go out later and increase capacity, we know we're going to have to do that. At some point, we'll fill up whatever we buy. And then we'll have another upfront fee and an additional.
Yeah, in all honesty, I don't know that any of us will be here when we fill it up,
Okay.
because the small one has 1 million images.
Okay.
Only thing is now, case files now are quite a bit different than they used to be. There's a lot more to it. So those documents, you can produce 1 million documents in maybe a couple of years or less. So at some point, we got to address enlarging it, but that's probably going to be 5-6 years down the road.
And we're paying this company to actually do the hosting and the maintenance and
Correct.
and have the liability for backup.
Yes. And training, they'll train us how
How
to
to do it.
operate the whole thing.
How long will it take us to download all of that in the new system? All these records that we've got in this building?
Well, and I'll have to use Michelle as an example. When we decided to scan a bunch of the stuff we have into the program in EM, they got on it, and it really didn't take that long. So it's going to take a while, and it'll be an ongoing process because you're going to have new ones coming in as you're scanning old ones. But I think there's enough downtime they can set the scan files and be able to take care of a lot of it pretty quick.
How old are some of those files that we have stored in there?
There's some files over there from Northcrest. So that was in before 98. And I know in that batch of files, there were some files in there from the 70s. So, some of them go on forever. And, there's a few that can be disposed of if you're in Class C misdemeanor bracket, you know, if it's a traffic fine or something, they can dispose of those, but anything above that pretty much have a long shelf life.
Okay, I guess we'll recess the work session and convene into regular session at 6:11 p.m. If you'll join me in the pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have the approval for the minutes, of the city council session held on March 9th, 2021.
I move.
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, call the council, please. Am I not speaking
Unmuted.
loud enough?
Hang on a minute.
She was muted.
Ms. Sights,
Yes.
Mr. Bondurant,
Yes.
Mr. Lednicky,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mr. Plecek,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Did she give me?
Did you get Ms. Clark?
Ms. Clark,
Yes. Okay, next we have discussion and consideration of action to authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with the McLennan County Elections Office to conduct the joint general election to be held on May 1st, 2021 for the mayor and 3 city council positions.
Make a motion.
Have a motion? Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hold the council, please.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mr. Plecek,
Yes.
Ms. Sights,
Yes.
Mr. Bondurant,
Yes.
Mr. Lednicky,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Ms. Clark.
Yes. Item number 7 is discussion and consideration of action to authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with the McLennan County Elections Office to authorize and approve the notice of joint general election to be held on May 1st, 2021 for the mayor and 3 city council positions.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hold the council, please.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mr. Plecek,
Yes.
Ms. Sights,
Yes.
Mr. Bondurant,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mr. Lednicky,
Yes.
Ms. Clark.
Yes. Next, we have discussion and consideration of action to authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Franklin Digital Solutions for a software document management system known as Laserfish. Do I hear a motion?
I move that we authorize the city manager to enter into agreement with Franklin Digital Solutions, acquire the software system.
For the MSE30.
The MSE 30, all right, the big one.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the council.
Ms. Sights,
Yes.
Mr. Bondurant,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson,
Yes.
Mr. Lednicky,
Yes.
Mr. Plecek,
Yes.
Ms. Clark.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.
You're on time, pick back 50 months.
Chris.
Yeah, I was seeing what you had there.
I don't see one for the framers side.
Oh, okay.
It's in there. It's in there.
Yeah.
Because that's why you have to select the option. I thought it was option C.
And then
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yes, the B was the minimum.
So three, so the
That Clinton C.
first off,
Is that correct?
I'm sorry?
In the packet, there was a little change on the next option.
Yeah.
We chose option C.
Well, it's option B.